Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our global audience. We are thrilled to have you here at USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide world-class education, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the Listening Mentor, and our show today is the Listening Mentor. We are going to talk about today, who are you unknowingly judging? The power of listening. Joining me is the star of our show. She's known as the Harley Street stress expert. Let's welcome Caroline Heward joining us from the UK. Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful to be here. It's been a few weeks.
Friday.
I love that.
I got it actually from Mr. Philip Sykes from the British School of Excellence. So when you lift your arms up, it gives you, I don't know, empowerment, energy. Give it a try, Caroline.
Yeah, well, I can see that would, because it lifts your energy. Yeah, I can see that. I'm glad I had my arms covered.
Exactly. Well, it's great to have you back. And for people who are joining us for the first time, you do this show with me the first and last Friday of each month. And we stream live at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is your 7 p.m. British summertime. So welcome aboard. And today on the Listening Mentor, we're talking about judgment. And I felt this is a really important topic because what I'm finding more and more, I speak to a number of people, I'm listening constantly as a listening mentor, and people, including me, we make little judgments about people and we're not even aware that we're doing it. And what are some examples of this? If I say to you, Caroline, that's a stupid thing to do. Caroline, why are you worried about that? What's wrong with you? These little comments that we think maybe we're helping somebody offload their stress or they don't need to focus on something, we're actually putting someone down. And when you put someone down, it doesn't feel very good. So Caroline, your work as the Harley Street stress expert, how is it that you help people to feel better about themselves and to bust their stress without putting someone else down?
Well, it's all about yourself. Everything is you and everything is a reflection of you. So if you are feeling sad, you will get people attracted to you that are sad. If you're feeling angry, you will get people having conversations with you that are angry. If you are deliriously happy and joyful, you will get people having conversations with you and interacting with you in that delirious, happy state. And so when you are judging people, then what happens is people start to judge you. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's really important to self-check in. And when you check in to yourself as to how you're feeling, then you're in control because you can change how you feel and how you respond and how you react. And the external experiences are related to what's not working in your life. So if you are suffering with physical ache and pain, emotional or mental ache and pain, such as stress, anxiety, depression, or physical, emotional ache and pain, like behavioral issues with relationships, sadness, loneliness, this is what I can help you with. And when we're in something, we can't see the wood through the trees. We just can't see it because we're in it. And I help you literally bust through your stress, and I help you identify the root cause of what initially started that particular symptom or issue. And you then feel incredibly peaceful, and more than that, you get an incredible night's sleep too.
It's all good. Everything that we want is all wrapped up right there in Caroline and what she offers. Caroline, I think for some people, if we were to show a role play about judgment, they could see it and witness it and experience it. And yet there's more subtle nuances about judgment that people are not aware of. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share a role play. I actually shared it on my Talking Heads episode earlier this week, but I think it warrants being played again. So let's take a look at this role play. Again, these are actors, professional actors who were directed to do a scene. And even though you might see someone's name, Christine Artner, she is the one who provided the actors for this. So just remember, it's not real, but it could be real for you, for me, for anyone else. Let's take a look at this role play.
Mary? Oh my God! Hey! Oh my God, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm perfect. Just got my third vaccination.
Oh, really? You did that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh no! It's so bad for your health. Did you know what you do there? Oh, it's so bad. You can die of it. Do you know what's in there? You really trust it? Oh my God, I would never trust that. I'm so healthy, I tell you. I never got this vaccination, and I had it, and it was no problem. It was really no problem for me. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're dying in 2 years.
Yeah, I don't care. I'd rather die of my vaccinations than from COVID.
You're going to die from this vaccination. I was at demonstrations, and I really heard things you never wanted to know. You never wanted to know what you did.
I had no idea you were one of those tinfoil people.
Tinfoil people?
Tinfoil hat? Are you wearing your tinfoil hat?
I just tell the
I
truth.
can't believe it.
I tell you the truth. It's the truth.
No way.
It's the
No,
truth.
no. Stop right there. I'm gonna. No way. No.
Whoa.
Wow. As many times as I watch that and knowing that it's a role play, it still gives me the chills, because this kind of thing goes on all the time, all over the world. And it doesn't have to be vaccinations. It could be abortion, gun control, who's in office. It could be climate change, global, a million different things. And people get set and stuck in what they believe in, and they stop listening. And when you stop listening and you're judging the other person, you could see what ended up happening was that after the first actress was judging the other actress, the second actress came back and said, "Oh, what are you, one of those tinfoil people?" So now she's judging and insulting. And I would say in real life, if that were a situation, the likelihood of their relationship being repaired might be very difficult. What did you see, Caroline?
Well, I saw exactly what you saw and what you've identified. And I saw a lot of upset, anger, because both people were fixed in their thinking and what they believed. And this is the challenge that we have when we believe something to the point of distraction. So we really believe something and we feel so passionate about it that we push our thoughts and our views onto somebody else without any consideration or thought for what the other person believes. Now, everything that we believe is true for us because a belief is something that's very internal. But if you're pushing your beliefs onto somebody else that doesn't believe what you believe, this is how we end up in war. This is how we end up in crisis. And this is how we end up in name calling and people being in this current times, cancelled. There is a lot of people that believe one thing as opposed to the mainstream media, and then they're cancelled out and obliterated because of their views. And so this is happening all over. I remember the same thing going on when we had a big political debate over Brexit, and the amount of people that were throwing their point of view in text, in written speak on Facebook. And then there was a counter argument, literally admonishing the other person's view and making it very personal. And when it's like that, it's very difficult to come back from something that is that personal. You can't make somebody or change somebody's mind if they believe what they believe. You can add perspective. You can say, what about this thought? But it's not appropriate to push your beliefs onto somebody else, because it's appropriate that we all believe what we believe, because a belief is be lie. Whatever we believe is true for each individual. And I felt very sad because I saw a lot of that situation going on in that particular circumstance and in others.
Thank you, Caroline. Great points as always. So I wanted to show that role play because I would think for most, I don't want to say that's a judgment. It's possible that people watched that role play and they took something away from it. They could see the discourse, they could see the judgment. However, there are little subtle things that we do on a day-to-day basis that are also related to judgment that people may not be aware of. So one of them is a scenario I'm going to play out with you right now. And of course, for everyone watching on the 10 destinations who have joined us right now, if you've been here before, I just throw things at Caroline. She has no idea what I'm going to say. There's no script. So this is another one of those situations, and Caroline always does exceptionally well. Caroline, I want you to call me on the phone, and I want you pretend call me on the phone, and I want you to tell me about something that's going on with your day. Okay?
Okay. Ring, ring. Hello, Dr. JACALYN. How are you? I'm having a really exciting day. My painters and decorators are just finishing. I'm so excited. I'm really, really happy. I've finally got my home back and it looks amazing. I'm really ecstatic about the results of. Are you listening to me?
Hi, Caroline. Yes, I'm listening to what you're saying. This is so boring. I can't believe she is telling me this. I have deadlines that I have to meet, and she's going on and on about nothing. Yeah, so go ahead. I'm really busy right now, and I don't really have the time to talk to you.
I hear you, and I just want to tell you that you should see my living room. OMG, it's amazing. And my dining room. Oh, geez, they made such a great job of it. It's just incredibly beautiful. It all looks divine. I can't wait to have dinner parties. Are you still listening to me?
Caroline, I have to go. I told you I can't talk right now. I have to go.
Oh, okay. I just want to tell you this one thing. I put a review on Google and it's just really cool. And the owner of the company come back and he said, you're a superstar. And I'm so excited because that's going to help others get the same kind of, I hear that you got to go. I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Click. Okay. This happens all the time. First of all, when Caroline called, she did not ask for permission. She did not say, Dr. JACALYN, is this a good time for us to have a chat? And had she said that, I would have said, no, it's not, because I'm doing a television show right now. So when you start up a conversation with someone, even though you're extremely excited, that's your excitement. That doesn't mean that the other person is going to share equally and feel the same things that you feel. So the last thing that you want is to be so excited, and then you go to talk to someone and they're not interested at the moment because they're busy doing something else. So Caroline, when I said those things to you, even though it's a role play, how did it make you feel? What was coming up for you?
I sort of felt a little bit disjointed, a bit kind of, I want to share this with you. You don't want to listen. And just let me tell you this, because it's exciting. I finally got my home back. But and I wanted to push through it because I am genuinely excited about what's happened to me. And at the same time, I wasn't respecting your boundaries at that point, and because it's role play, I did that deliberately, by not respecting your boundaries. I can hear as soon as somebody picks up the call, oh, it doesn't sound like it's a good time to speak, because I can hear them, and they're always really pushed, that they're kind of surprised when I respond like that. So yes, but I deliberately, because it was a role play and wanted to kind of, really push the boundaries, I wanted to play out the excitement so that it really showed up that this is what we do. Generally, we don't think, we just call with our stuff.
It's so true. And what's really important to us, if let's say it's bad news and you have to deliver the bad news to the person, that doesn't mean because you're going through something really tough and you pick up the phone that the person on the other end, they don't know that you're calling with this news. Maybe they're in the middle of doing something, and by you sharing the news at that moment, that might have a dire impact on what they're doing or how they're feeling. So it's always good to ask for permission. Would this be a good time for me to have a 10-minute chat with you? And if it's supposed to be 10 minutes, it's supposed to be 10 minutes. Don't go on for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Now, the other thing that I wanted to have come out of the role play is that when someone is sharing something with you, like Caroline's sharing what's going on with her house, the minute I start thinking to myself, I have to work on what I'm working on, this isn't as important as what I'm doing, I'm now judging her. And as soon as I start judging her, I am no longer listening. So in order to have deep connections, authentic relationships, and real conversations, think about some of these things. Even though Caroline's excited to share something with me, I might have to say, I appreciate that you're excited, but honestly, I can't give you the respect and the time that you need right now. I will be available tomorrow. And Caroline might say, well, tomorrow I'm excited right now. I want you to listen to me right now. And so we end up being like children, up and down. I want you to listen to me now. We have to get control of our emotions, because if the person on the receiving end is not mentally able to focus on what you're saying, you're going to leave possibly feeling sad or feeling dejected or rejected. And then your happy news goes onto a lower level. So, Caroline, let's try again, asking for permission, and let's see what happens.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Dr. JACALYN. I've got some fantastic news to share with you. Have you got a spare 5 minutes so I can have a chat with you?
Well, Caroline, I'm always glad to hear from you. If it's really 5 minutes, then okay, because I have a deadline that I'm working on. If it's going to be longer than 5 minutes, I really want to give you the respect that you deserve, and I'd rather we have a conversation tonight. So I already took up 30 seconds. Can you do it in 4 minutes and 30?
Oh, geez, I really get that. I know what you mean. I've had those kind of deadlines too. Look, let's catch up when you've got a better time. Drop me a message and let me know when it's good for you, and let's speak then.
Perfect. And I have to say, Caroline, even though it's a role play, I felt a peacefulness that you responded the way that you responded, because I thought, now I'm not under the pressure to do what I'm doing, and then also show you the respect that you deserve. Something else I wanted to bring up, and this happened this week, I'm having a number of conversations with people if they're interested in coming onto our platform or expanding, because we've got a lot of opportunities. And what I'm finding is, even though I have a mission, which is to review the opportunities, people want to talk to me about other things. And so if I'm not open to hearing what it is they have to say, the fact that I have an opportunity isn't going to resonate with them, because something else is going on for them. And actually, one of the days this week, somebody I met with just said, listen, I'm having a really hard day and you're here and I'm giving it to you. And I didn't even have a chance to say anything. The person just completely let everything out that's going on with them. And we had a 30-minute call and they went on for 20 minutes. And so I was not thinking at all, I have to get to the deck, I have to bring up my presentation. I was not thinking that. I thought for some reason I was the chosen one to be here at this time to listen to this person. Had I been thinking about what I need and what I wanted to do, I would not be able to listen to what this person was sharing because my mind was somewhere else.
I've had that a number of times. And also when somebody they set up a meeting, they don't tell you what the meeting's about. And so you're thinking it's about one thing and the meeting's about something entirely different. And you don't know how much time they've dedicated to you for that meeting. And then they've got everything that they want out of it and they've shared everything, but they haven't actually left time for you to do your sharing bit and what you were interested in talking to them about. And so you land up with two people not really achieving what they wanted to achieve, which is very sad. And it's genuinely because each person didn't communicate what the other was expecting and outline the agenda for that meeting.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. I've had that happen as well. And what I also think is interesting is you and I are advocates for the power of listening and for inner peace and world peace. And I know we've spoken about it. We really believe that when people learn how to listen on an elevated level, individual by individual by individual, then the opportunity for peace across the world grows. But until that point, people are like this because the politicians, whomever, no one's listening to each other. Everyone has an agenda and wants their agenda to be heard first. And they become highly emotional about their agenda. And therefore, they're not able to take a step back and actually look at everything that's being presented and see, okay, maybe I could learn something from that agenda or this agenda. It's not just about my agenda. So I would encourage people to look at their own lives and in your own relationships. How often are you focused on your own agenda and not listening to what somebody else wants to share with you because you have a great opportunity to learn something?
It's so true. And about agendas, some of us, we have a hidden agenda. So we set up a conversation with someone, or we start to talk to that person, and internally we have a hidden agenda that we've not shared with that person, that we want to get something out of it, and the other person doesn't know. And so that's like a manipulation of conversation and a manipulation of a situation, because the two people don't know what the person that's actually having the conversation doesn't know what the hidden agenda is of the other person. And I've had this happen to me previously a number of years ago, where somebody wanted to see me for a session, and it was literally the evening before I was about to fly off to the States for 3 weeks in training. And I'd been speaking to them for a number of weeks where they were building up to have a session with me. And then, they says, oh, please, can I come and see you before you go? I really need to, because I can't wait until you come back. And I will give you half of the money before you go. And then when you come back at the end of the month, I will have the rest of the money. And I said, okay, I don't normally do that, but, fair enough. I will be, I feel that we've got a good relationship, a good rapport here, and I'm happy to do that. And then at the end of that person's time, they turned on me and they started to get very upset, very angry, and all sorts of things happened that I wasn't expecting. And then they sent a couple of messages, and essentially they didn't want to pay. And so they only paid me half the money because they had no intention of paying me the full amount of money. So they turned on me and said it was really a waste of time and it was rubbish and they didn't get anything from it. And I thought, I was really, really upset. And then I only had like a few hours to pack everything up and go off to America. And my master turned around and she said to me, hidden agendas. We're going to look at that. That is one of the topics of our training. And it felt like somebody did a number on me, and I didn't see it because I only wanted to see the best in that person and every single person that I speak to and I have an interaction with.
Thanks for sharing that, Caroline. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. It sounds like it was an opportunity to learn as well. And then here's another thing. So once someone wrongs us, we could have a tendency to judge them. Oh, that person's a user. That person's this, that person's that. Instead of saying, maybe it's not great to have this person in my life because I don't think we're on the same level in terms of respect.
Absolutely. And I just, I did learn, I don't do it anymore, unless somebody actually has the money, then I don't do a session. And that works for me. Sometimes it was a small amount, but it was not the amount, it was more the fact that they got very nasty. And so they made it so that they didn't have to pay, because they were ridiculing the session. And it just wasn't what I was expecting, because we developed a very good rapport over a number of weeks. And I was just surprised that it happened. But it does happen because some people have an agenda of their own that you're not aware of.
That's very true. Very true. I think for the messaging that we're providing every month, twice a month, in fact, other programs that we've done, courses that we're teaching, what I found is when it comes to listening skills and agendas, etc., people always think it's someone else. Well, I'm a great listener. I don't have an agenda. And I put together a quiz actually for people to take to test their listening skills, the power of listening. And I've had a few people recently put that they were experts. And I thought this was quite interesting because having interviewed them or having had a meeting with them, they clearly weren't listening. They clearly were not listening, but yet they think that they're experts. So all of us have the opportunity to grow. And it's just about being open. Okay, maybe this person is someone who has a hidden agenda, but the person could learn from it and they could actually change. Maybe someone thinks they're an expert listener and finds out that they're not, but it's an opportunity to grow. So that's what we're encouraging people. That's why we're here today. We're not judging anyone out there on their listening skills or what they're doing. We're asking you to have an open mind, to actually listen, to watch role plays, and to see what you can take away and to input into your own life. So, Caroline, when we go back to unknowingly judging, I want to just share another instance. So if in the conversation that you and I were having before in the role play, I might think that what I'm doing is more important than what you're doing. But in actuality, what you're doing is very important to you. And what I'm doing is very important to me. And if we truly care about each other, or if it's a professional relationship, if we want that relationship to work, we have to show respect to the other person and not judge what they're saying. So when you call me to tell me about your house, I have to be respectful because I care about you. And whether or not what I'm doing is important, maybe what I'm doing isn't important to you, but you have to respect me as well. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yes. And we don't know what's going on in the other person's world. And that's very key to understand. We can be full of our own lives and what's happening in our own lives, but we don't know specifically what's going on in that person's life, in that person's family, and in that person's relationships. And so it's very easy to judge if we don't know, and it's important to know. I've called up people before now thinking that there's a problem for them because I've seen a post, and then I've said, look, I'm really happy to help. Let me know if I can be of service to you. Please reach out. I'm around over the next few days. And then they haven't. And it's not because they don't want to. It's probably because it's not appropriate for them to, or they're busy, they're doing something else. And I don't take offense to that, because it's about, everything is about the person's personal timing. And we don't know exactly what is happening for that person in that moment.
Absolutely. And an example I want to give in alignment with what you just discussed, because I've experienced this recently, was last week I was with someone who was in the hospital and I was staying overnight. And so I was in a chair and I wasn't going to be sleeping. I was making sure they were safe. And someone was texting me, and it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. And their text seemed to get elevated in level in terms of anger. They seemed to be really angry. And I wanted to just write something back right away. And I said to myself, wait a minute. You are in a hospital. You are stressed out. You have no sleep. Do not answer. Do not engage whatsoever. And so after I had an opportunity to review the text string, I realized that there was something must be going on with this person, because I know this person and something's going on. So I wrote to the person and said, I'd really like to have a conversation. And then the person wrote they weren't available to talk to me on the phone and they'd get back to me at some point in the future. And I thought, whoa, now we're going to a whole new level. So instead of writing back, like, what is wrong with you? What's going on? Don't you know what's going on with me? I've told you what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I just picked up the phone and I said, hi, would now be a good time for us to have a conversation? And the person just started going on. They were going through a really hard time and they felt bad for me going through a hard time, but they weren't sure what to say and they shouldn't have been texting me at that time. And so it ended up being sort of like I want to say a vomit dump. The person just shared all this information. But I said, how can I help you? What can I do to lift you up? And from there, it took a much more positive turn. But any point during that time period, I could have reacted in a different way. And maybe that relationship would be over now.
Oh yes, 2, 3 in the morning text messages. I've had some of those because as you know, I'm sometimes awake at that time. I fall asleep early evening and then I wake up at sort of 2 or 3 in the morning and then I start doing things. I've actually had a lot of physical things going on since I've moved into my new house. So I've been a little bit tired physically. So I've not got up in the middle of the night so often. But, you know, when I'm surprised at how many people do. And some people don't, if they're stressed, they don't actually recognize time. And so it could be 3 in the morning in the UK and somebody's messaging me. And sometimes I've responded back saying, have you any idea what time it is? You know, it's 3 in the morning, you know, what do you want? And then that's when I've kind of got a little bit uppity because I'm working, I'm doing something. But then there's other times where I've literally decided not to respond because it wasn't a good time. And when you're messaging someone, if it's not a good time, we don't have to be responsive immediately. We can be responsive the next day. And so it is about taking control of how we react and how we respond. And we live very much now in a world and a society that everything almost needs to be immediate, but it doesn't need to be immediate. It's important to recognize and respect your own boundaries, because if you overstep your boundaries, you'll get upset, and then the other person will have an expectation that you continue a conversation. And so it's important to kind of say, well, okay, I've got that message, I've seen it, and I'm going to respond when I have more time or when I've got more space. And I do that. And then I forget. And that's half of my problem, that I think, oh, yes, I must respond to that. You know, that needs me to look at something. And then sometimes I forget because I live so present, you know, in the moment. So it's important. This is about your personal boundaries and how comfortable you are to allow people to overstep your boundaries, and also keeping your own respectful boundaries in terms of how you respond to somebody else.
Excellent points. Thank you. My father had a saying, and I've shared it here before, but people call us at their convenience. That doesn't mean that we have to be available. And I remember one time he shared this with me. I was sitting at the table having a conversation with him, and I had my phone, and I was waiting for one of my boyfriends, losers, no kidding, to call me on the phone. And my dad said, "You're not listening to me." And I said, "No, I am listening to you. I'm just checking the phone to see if he's going to call." And my dad said, "Well, that means you're not actually listening to me. And when he calls, he's calling at his convenience. And you're actually busy right now because you're talking to your father." And I thought, wow, there's something there that I wasn't even aware of. And yet we do that. We're sitting across from someone and we've got the phone out and we're scrolling. Oh, I'm listening. No, you're not listening. You're hearing, but you're not actually listening. And if you're watching a television show and someone's trying to talk, it's not possible to do two things at one time. And I learned this lesson. I used to have 6 screens out at any time. with 2 iPads and 2 phones. And I would be working on all of them thinking, wow, look how productive I am. And I really was not productive because I was distracted by one thing and then switching to the other thing. So I want people to take that away from the show also, that if you truly are interested in listening to someone and showing the person the respect, you can't be doing anything. Put the phone down, turn the television off, just look them in the eye and listen without interrupting, without judging, without providing a solution, and without making it about you.
I've had people call me and I've given them 100% of my attention and my listening. And in the background, I can hear them in the kitchen or, sort of putting something away. I can also sometimes hear them if they're shopping and they suddenly tell me, just bear with me a minute. I'm just at the counter at the till. I've just got to pay for this and then we can continue our conversation. So they called me that they were shopping or they were doing something. And I just find it really bizarre because when I'm taking a call, I'm 100% there and I'm not doing anything else. And if I have to do something like pour myself a glass of water or put the kettle on, I will say, sorry about the noise. I just need to get myself a glass of water. So if you can just bear with me, there'll be a bit of rattle in the background. But I'm 100% yours after that. And I'm very conscious of that, but it's amazing how many people pick up the phone and have a conversation that literally still continue whatever they're doing. It's bizarre. I find it really almost kind of wow, because I don't do it. And I notice when others do it.
Exactly, Caroline. And I feel that if they really are interested in speaking with you, or they're interested in speaking with me, or if I'm interested in speaking with you and vice versa, you're not doing anything else. Some people feel that if they can get 2 birds with 1 stone, so if they could go and shop and talk to you at the same time, that saves them the time that they'd have to call you. But yet they can't be shopping and listening to what you have to say because it's not possible. They're looking at the shelves. What should I get? Was this how much last week? How much is it now? How much money do I have? What, Caroline? What? And then it's kind of like you're a professional person who gets paid for their time and they're wasting your time.
I'm going to share something really funny with you, and because it was really hilarious. I spoke to a very dear friend, and there was a bit of noise in the background. Didn't actually know what it was. And they turned around and they said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't catch that. I was just in the shower." It did make me crack up. And they're a very, very dear friend. And I just literally burst into fits of laughter and says, "Oh my gosh, that's TMI, too much information."
How about can you call me back when you're out of the shower? I mean, that's crazy. What
I
ended
don't
up
know how
happening?
he heard me.
Did you continue the conversation or not?
Well, he was asking me some questions and I was responding and I was giving him some information, if you see what I mean. And so he was listening while he was in the shower.
But if you think about it, just the water itself is a distraction, the noise of the water. And so, yeah, it is interesting. That was a funny story. Thank you.
Well, and I don't, I'm not judging that person in terms of, the fact that they were in the shower. It was more a case of, I just rolled out laughing when they told me. I says, really? For goodness sake. Because when we're so distracted like that, and we do in our current times live in a huge distraction of always doing 2 things or 3 things at one time because of this multitasking and being, sort of multi-focused on many things. But, sort of when somebody literally is in a conversation and they're truly present in that conversation, whether it be on the phone, whether it's an audio call, a video call, or whether it's, in person, face to face, you truly get an incredibly deep and peaceful experience when you're 100% with them. I have so many people saying to me, I don't know what it is about you, but I always feel absolutely amazing. I always feel so relaxed and so peaceful. What is it about you? And what it is that I'm totally present. I'm completely there in that moment with that person. And that's what makes it very magical. And I have so many people saying, you're amazing. I don't know what it is that you do, but you're amazing. Just like the painters and decorators, one of them said, oh, an amazing lady, I've really enjoyed working here. And that is because I'm present. It really is. It's as simple as that.
It surely is. And that's a gift that you have. Absolutely. And many times I'll think to myself, I'm a certified coach. People hire me to coach them on a number of things, and I charge a certainly hourly rate, just like you. And when you give people the gift of your time, and then later you think to yourself, well, let's see, that's $2,000 I gave away this week because you were busy listening. That really is something for people to value, because we all have value. We all have services that we provide. When someone is giving you the gift of listening at an elevated level, take it in, honor it, hold on to it, cherish it, and then pay it forward and do the same for someone else.
What's really beautiful is when you are like that and you're really present and listening and being openly present with the person. I've actually had dinner with people where they've put up all the chairs behind us and all the tables have been cleared, and we're the only two people left in the middle of the restaurant. And that's because I've been so attentive that the other person that I'm with has become attentive back to me and with me. And we didn't notice, because you land up being lost in a world that is a world that you've created. And it's actually heaven, because you don't get caught up in the drama and the stress of everything else. And it's a very beautiful experience. And it's not about the restaurant, it's about the connection between those people and the beautiful time, because time stands still when you are in that level of depth of connection.
Yes, that's absolutely a great share, as always. One of the things, as I see our time is up, that I just want to leave people with, because I feel that it's really important. When someone comes to you and they have something they wanted to share, whether it's something they're really happy about or something they're upset about, if you really do care and you are putting on your elevated listening hat, let's just do a quick role play, Caroline. Let's do a role play. Okay. So tell me about your house. Tell me about something else. And then I'm going to say something in return.
Okay. Oh, you wouldn't believe this. I've got to pull all the carpets up. It's an absolute nightmare. There's a smell, and it's because the previous person had dogs. And, I just need them up. I just need to sort it. Are you okay? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. You know what? I had the same thing happen to me when I lived at XYZ, and apparently they had dogs and they weren't picking up after them, and the smell got stuck in the carpet, and then I think the dogs were urinating, and then their mold was starting to grow, and blah, blah, blah. We do this all the time. I did not acknowledge what Caroline said. I did not say anything in regards to the fact that I was listening. I wasn't showing compassion. I wasn't showing empathy. I just took over the stage and I made it about me. Caroline, how are you feeling now that you didn't get any feedback from me?
It felt, well, that's why I said, you're listening, because I felt like sort of, I'm just kind of rambling on here and I'm not getting any feedback, any kind of acknowledgement. And sometimes when it goes so silent, you sometimes say, are you still there? And we do that because we're not sure, because especially if it's an audio call, you can't see the other person. You're not getting the signals that they are listening. And, if they are saying, oh, no, or, oh, gosh, I'm sorry to hear that. Or, yes, just a little bit of, kind of a grunt or a grin or some kind of feedback. But it is disconcerting. And certainly I've been in the situation where I've said, are you still there? Certainly on an audio call. Are you still with me? Have I lost you? Is the connection still there? You know, and this is because we can be wrapped up in, you know, when somebody's sharing a story. This is what we call one-upmanship. You know, your story was greater than mine, and so then it's like, oh, that sounds terrible, that sounds a nightmare, and so then I'm gonna jump straight in and, you know, get into your story, whereas I didn't get any feedback for mine.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And what I'd like people to know is that while Caroline was talking, as we're doing this role play, I stopped listening because I was thinking about what I was going to say. And that's what we always do when we are in a position where we're not listening at an elevated level. It suddenly becomes about us, and we can't think about our story and listen to Caroline's. So if Caroline had finished her story and I said the following, Caroline, I'm so glad that you trusted me to share this with. And I'm sure you must be going through such a lot with the move and moving to a new town. And now you have to deal with this. What can I do to support you?
I do love that when people say that to me because it says to me that they're listening and they care. How can I help you? You know, what can I do to help you overcome this? And sometimes it can be as simple that they're there and they're listening, you know, or, you know, I've had a pretty difficult time, you know, in sorting out stuff here. And yet I've had so much support, and it's because that people have been considered and kind to me. And I do believe it's because if I'm that way, it kind of comes back that way. It's, you know, I just think it's kind of cool, you know, that happens, you know, and I do believe that if we are in a challenging situation, if we are genuinely considered and kind in the way that we are normally to people, that's what we're going to get back. And that's certainly how I genuinely live my life, and I'm amazed at being surrounded by incredible earth angels and people that just come out of the woodwork and create miracles in my life.
It's a beautiful thing, just like you are inside and out. And I thank you for being here today and sharing all this knowledge and wisdom. As we get ready to depart for our next show, Caroline, we have your banner up here, and I know you have a free Zoom Stress Bust Your Stress consultation. Tell us about it.
Well, if you are stressed, whether it's physical, emotional, mental behavior, whether you have a relationship issue, whatever it is that you're complaining about, that's usually when people say I'm not stressed, but they're complaining about something. So it's whatever is irking you, whatever is taking your time that's difficult. Reach out to me. You can reach out to me on nomorestress@live.co.uk, or call me on +44 if you're international 07523 120 189, and I offer a free telephone consultation, audio if you're camera shy, or Zoom or Skype, or for some people I've actually been offering messenger video calls and audio calls, and I will help you literally bust your stress so that you feel deeply relaxed and will get an incredible night's sleep. And that is my gift to you.
Thank you, Caroline. That is an incredible gift. Please do reach out to Caroline. That's why she's here. Get out of your comfort zone and take action. And please consider the power of elevated listening. If you'd like to join us on our mission, you can go to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and you can actually take our course, The Power of Elevated Listening. Caroline also has a course over on usaglobaltv.com/education. Tell us about it.
It's the psychology of the chakras, a healing journey. And the healing journey, it literally takes you through each of the chakras, giving you insight, understanding, and awareness. But more than that, it is a healing journey, an education, and a transformational course. And I look forward to hearing how you've got on with it when you purchase the course.
Thank you. To take our courses, you can go to our website, usaglobaltv.com/education, or you can go over to Thinkific, which is on the screen right now, drjacalyn.thinkific.com. com/collections, and we will be putting this into the notes. So we're going to sign off with a new sponsorship from the lovely Diane Floyd Bain. She has a new children's book out. Let's take a look. Thank you so much. Do come back. We will be with Pet Psychic Amina following this program.
Good night, everyone.